Welcome, crypto fam, to the #1 daily Bitcoin pod. In today's show, I'll be breaking down the latest Bitcoin technical analysis as well as breaking news. Binance founder CZ says the UAE already has Bitcoin in reserves and it's inevitable for Hong Kong to buy Bitcoin. We're witnessing game theory playing out. Also breaking news, Prince Philip of Serbia announced Bitcoin strategic reserves are already happening behind closed doors. He announced this at the Abu Dhabi event going on right now in the Middle East. We'll also be discussing crypto ETPs hit record 3.85 billion worth of inflows as Bitcoin smashes 100 Gs, as well as Marathon Digital acquires another 270 million worth of Bitcoin following convertible note offering we refer to as the Saylor put. And speaking of Saylor, buying the top forever, Laura. MicroStrategy bags another 21,500 Bitcoin at peak prices, as I predicted he would announce today. Also, National Center for Public Policy Research proposes a Bitcoin treasury to Amazon. Could you imagine if Amazon started accepting Bitcoin payments? Game on. We'll also be discussing the U.S. should sell its gold and acquire Bitcoin. According to MicroStrategy's Michael Saylor, I'll be explaining why. And according to the high priest of Bitcoin, Max Keiser, he says doing this will send Bitcoin parabolic to 2.2 million per coin. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market. All this, plus so much more, in today's show. But anyways, family, if you're new to the channel, very important to smash the likes, then go ahead and subscribe. Hit the bell icon. Turn on all notifications to receive daily premium crypto news alerts every single day, 7 days a week, just like this. Today is pod episode 1843. I'm your host, JV. It's December 9, 2024. Happy Monday, fun day. Let's kick it off with our market watch as we do each and every day. As you can see right here, the entire broader crypto market correcting. And in the red, we got BTC down 2%, Ether down 3%, XRP down 6%. Everything's correcting. And checking out coin market cap. Let's see where we stand as far as the market cap is concerned. Currently 3.56 trillion for the total crypto market cap. Bitcoin market cap sitting at 1.93 trillion. We got 221 billion worth of volume for the past 24 hours, with a Bitcoin dominant at 54.4%, Ether dominance even at 13%. How high do you think the Bitcoin dominance will climb for this cycle? Let me know. And checking out top 100 crypto gainers past 24 hours. We got a couple of the meme coins leading the pack, Floki and Pepe, and virtually nothing else in the green as everything's correcting and in the red. And checking out the crypto bubbles, we get a visual perspective. Let's first look on the day. We can see everything bloodbath red, and then to make us feel better, we'll zoom out for the month, and everything's back in the green. Many of these alts up several 100%, HBAR 500%, Doge 115%, XLM over 300%, XRP 343%, just massive gainers across the board for the month. And checking out the crypto greed and fear index, today we're 78, extreme greed, yesterday 79, last week an 80, and last month a 75. And checking out the time chain calendar. We have 173,000 blocks to go into the next halving in 2028. We're currently on block 873,855. And if you don't know, approximately every 10 minutes, the network gets a new block. And you could currently exchange $1 for 1,000 Satoshis even. Ain't that wild? Exactly 1,000 Satoshis as far as the conversion per US monopoly dollars. So there you have it, ladies and gents. Anyways, fam, let's discuss what's happening in the market right now. We'll also be pulling up some of the live charts. So let's break this baby down. As the headline reads, the 5 things to watch out for in the market this week. I'll give you the breakdown. The Bitcoin price dip sooner rather than later, and precisely what we're witnessing. I mean, we're going up and down above 100,000. Yesterday, it felt like 1,000 times. We did like one of those pump watches, and it was just like, or it may have even been, it ended yesterday, but it started the day before. We did like a 14-hour stream, and it's like, we went back above and below 100,000 like relentless amount of times. Here you're looking at the 1 week chart, and I'll be pulling up some of the charts live here in a bit. Still unable to sustain above 101. The current all-time high, by the way, is 104, which we achieved December 4th, which is officially Bitcoin 100K day. And quoting some of the analysts, Crypt Nuevo, it is a possibility the price goes up from here, a breakout without filling the 50% wick at 94. Yes, it is, but I do not trust that move because there's a major imbalance to the downside that needs to get filled. Referring to the CME futures gap, I take it here, sitting at $94,000. Other news this week, CPI comes as markets see more Fed rate cuts. The latest data from the CME Group Fed Watch tool indicates a majority odds of 85% and that a 0.25% rate cut will follow. Obviously, that's bullish for risk on assets like the BTC when they lower the interest rates. Quoting the Kabisi letter, all eyes on the CPI and PPI inflation data as markets hope to solidify another 25 BPS rate cut. The median duration of unemployment in the U.S. rose to 10.5 weeks in November, the longest in 3 years. And at the same time, the average unemployment duration rose to 23.7 weeks, the highest since April of 2022. Both metrics have been now rising at the pace previously seen at the onset of the last 4 recessions. In other news this week, China embarked on rare fiscal easing. That's right. The classic macro boost for Bitcoin may yet come from China as soon as next year in 2025. Quoting Dan Tapiero right here of 10T Holdings, negative real interest rates in China takes edge off the U.S. inflation fears. U.S. dollar strengthens and the rates drop. China is about to find out that it is following a similar path as Japan. The more monetary stimulus it does, the more liquidity flows into the bonds as opposed to the risk assets. Why? Because people are skeptical that the fiscal stimulus will work. And in other big news, tomorrow's the big day. Microsoft to decide on the Bitcoin strategy. Will they adopt Bitcoin for their treasury? Will they accept Bitcoin payments? Just do the math. Bitcoin will go absolutely parabolic if they do that. One of the largest companies on the planet. And you already know Michael Saylor pitched their shareholders not once, but twice. So in my mind, it's already a done deal. Hopefully the announcement solidifies that tomorrow. Let me know if you guys agree or disagree. And I think the bigger picture there is a lot of the other major companies are likely to adopt Bitcoin and follow suit with the Saylor put or get left behind. Other breaking news, will it be a choppy new year? I think looking at the historic markets, personally, Bitcoin always follows a 4-year cycle. And this is the year of the halving, and it's the year preceding the halving. We always go parabolic. Expect more volatility, but to the upside nonetheless. According to CryptoQuant, he says the 14-day choppiness index is an early zone showing corrective moves during the consolidation. So yeah, more than likely we'll continue choppy, but nonetheless, we're going to chop 110. We're going to chop 120. Heck, we can chop 2.2 million. Anything is possible with all eyes on the BTC. And before I pull up the live charts, here's some of the breaking news. Binance founder CZ says the UAE, let's go. United Arab Emirates already has Bitcoin in the reserves, just hasn't announced it. Max has been telling you this for the longest time, and it's inevitable for Hong Kong to buy the BTC. This is a game theory playing out. And in other news, Prince Philip of Serbia says Bitcoin strategic reserves are already happening behind closed doors. Couldn't agree more. This is called the global hash war playing out in real time. And checking out the live charts. Let's do a little live chart action Jackson for the broskies. As you can see here, there's the 1 minute chart. We do have a target. Obviously, we dropped. We were above 100,000 maybe a couple hours ago. It's crazy, this volatility, but nonetheless, there is a 98,500 target on the 1 minute chart, and we'll zoom out from here. Check out the 1 hour chart. You can see we started to climb. We hit about 100,400 earlier, and then big red candle down, corrective candle to where we're currently at. So that's the 1 hour chart. And zooming out, check out the 4 hour chart. And as you can see, we do have a bullish target, at least a bullish pennant, still sitting at 108. So don't get it twisted. 108 still in play. We're roughly, what is that? About 10,000, which is a God candle away from that target. And zooming out from the 4 hour, take a quick look at the 1 day. 1 day chart says it's going up forever, Laura. Exactly. And zooming out from the daily. So obviously big corrective candle forming. and checking out for the weekly good news. We just had the highest weekly close ever. It was above $100,000, so that's some good news. And we also have a target still in the weekly chart, as you can see on your screen, which is 124,000. And look how many green consecutive weekly candle closes we have received. Pretty lit. So Q4, let's freaking go. Next headline reads, crypto ETPs, which are exchange traded products, hit record 3.85 billion worth of inflows as the biddy smashes 100 G's. That's right. Digital asset investment products are their largest inflows on record, with 3.85 billion invested during the trading week of December 2nd to the 6th. According to CoinShares, the latest crypto investment milestone came just a few weeks after crypto investment products smashed the previous record of 3.1 billion set in November, when Bitcoin traded at roughly 98. G's, baby. The new high in the weekly crypto inflows coincided with a Bitcoin breaking above 100,000 for the first time. I don't know why everyone's reporting December 5th. I'm pretty confident it was December 4th. We were live streaming it, but they keep reporting it on the 5th, maybe because it was in the evening of the 4th. You know what I mean? It was like maybe 10 p.m. or something, at least here in Puerto Rico time. Reaching a new all-time high of 104, which is the current price discovery mode. Coinciding with the Bitcoin price hitting the new highs last week, Bitcoin investment products led the total crypto weekly inflows with $2.5 billion, bringing the year-to-date inflows to $36.5 billion. Enter the 36 chambers. Wu-Tang. Wu-Tang. Short Bitcoin investors were less active last week, with short Bitcoin products seeing tepid inflows of 6.2 million. As you can see, the flows by assets in millions of dollars, brought to you by CoinShares. Now, quoting them, historically, we have seen much higher inflows after the sharp price rises, suggesting investors remain cautious on betting against the recent strong momentum. Now, Ethereum, the second largest blockchain network in terms of the market cap after the biddy, also saw new records of crypto investments last week, amid Ether surging past 4,000 for the first time in a long time. And that was on December 6th, 3 days ago. And according to CoinShares, Ethereum products saw 1.2 billion in weekly inflows last week, its largest inflows on record since the first ETF started trading in the United States back in July. A spike in Ethereum ETF investments came at the expense of Solana, which has seen 14 million of outflows, as noted by Butterfill. Adding Solana products saw their second consecutive week of outflows. Additionally, blockchain equities saw inflows of 124 million, the largest since January, driven by growing investor confidence in the improving Bitcoin miner margins. Now, crypto ETFs have seen a massive year this year, following the historic launch of the Bitcoin spot ETF trading, which took place January 11th was the official day it went live. And on December 6th, Bitcoin ETF holdings finally surpassed 1.1 million Bitcoin combined, for the first time surpassing those held by the infamous Satoshi Nakamoto. That's pretty wild. So what BlackRock and the major institutions achieved this year, just this year in 2024, already surpasses that of Satoshi Nakamoto, already surpasses that of MicroStrategy by double. MicroStrategy's buying up crazy Bitcoin, but they're still in the 400,000 range. So pretty wild. And I think they're not going to slow down. Most likely, they're just going to speed up as they try to control as much of the Bitcoin supply as possible. Here's the latest from Marathon Digital, acquiring another 270 million worth of the biddy following the convertible note offer, which we call here the Saylor put. That's right. New data from market intelligence firm Look On Chain reveals that Bitcoin mining company Marathon accumulated hundreds of millions of dollars worth of the King crypto following the convertible note offer. In a thread on X, Look On Chain finds that Marathon acquired nearly 140 million worth of Bitcoin after closing the second convertible note offering. As they shared here, on-chain data shows Marathon acquired another 1,423 Bitcoin valued at 139.5 million. This comes after Mara announced on December 5th the closing of its second 850 million convertible note offering, primarily aimed at purchasing Bitcoin and partially repurchasing existing notes due in 2026. A convertible note offering allows a firm to issue short-term debt that can eventually be converted into a company's shares at a predetermined time as a means of raising funds. A day later, Look On Chain says the firm bought yet another 1,300 Bitcoin worth 130 million. In total, Marathon accumulated 270 million worth of the biddy in 2 days. That's crazy. And according to data from blockchain tracker Arcam, Marathon's crypto wallet now holds 19,965 Bitcoin worth 2 billion. Want to hear something really crazy? MicroStrategy, which is what I call the company now, just purchased over 20,000 Bitcoin in one buy. Yeah, I mean, he just announced it. We'll be covering that as our next story. But anyways, Marathon launched in 2010 under a different name as the firm hoarding patents related to the encryption. The company subsequently stepped into the world of the Bitcoin mining in 2017, and one of the largest holders now as far as miners are concerned. I believe they are the biggest. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Here's the latest from the Giga Chad doing what he does best. I mean, buying the top forever, Laura. MicroStrategy bags another 21,000 and a half Bitcoin at the peak price. He's buying the top forever, Laura. MicroStrategy, we all know they're going to continue to buy the biddy. They just announced acquiring an additional 21,550 Bitcoin for $2.1 billion from December 2nd to the 8th at an average price of 98,700 per biddy. The company officially announced on December 9th, which is today. And I knew this was coming because Michael Saylor's very predictive in the sense that he posted something with their earnings, and it's always like the day following he, flexes and announces a new buy. So it's like we saw this incoming. As of December 8th, MicroStrategy held a total of 423,650 biddy, acquired for $25 billion at 60,000 per Bitcoin. That's the dollar cost average price. MicroStrategy co-founder and former CEO Saylor said on a statement on X, MicroStrategy's latest purchase came at a time when Bitcoin reached new all-time highs, breaking above 100,000 for the first time in history. December 4th. Despite the new highs, MicroStrategy co-founder Saylor reiterated his bullish stance on the crypto and his HODL philosophy, quoting him here from a recent news appearance he made. "I'll be buying the top forever. I am confident. I'll be buying the Bitcoin at $1 million per coin, likely at around $1 billion worth of Bitcoin per day at that price." So this guy just plans on buying roughly $1 billion worth of Bitcoin every day. Every day. That's why it's the Giga Chad. He says, yeah, man, I mean, that's just nuts. I'll be buying the top forever. The Bitcoin bull has also urged the U.S. government to dump gold reserves and buy more Bitcoin as a hedge against inflation. That particular story we're going to dive into deeper later in the show, as it's our feature story, which can send Bitcoin to 2.2 million per coin, as per Max Keiser. He believes that's what will happen as game theory and global hash wars continue. But quoting Saylor here, "Dump your gold, sell all the U.S. gold, and buy Bitcoin because you can buy 5 million Bitcoin for the cost of the gold. You'll demonetize the entire gold asset class." You hear that, Peter Shifty? And our enemies hold gold in their banks. And so their assets would go to zero, while our assets go to $1 trillion. Genius move. Man, imagine that. What are your thoughts on that strategy, family? Let me know. And that's the only strategy. Next story, we discuss Michael Saylor purchased another 21,000 Bitcoin. Now let's discuss Amazon, and then we'll dive into United States adopting Bitcoin and selling their gold reserves and pumping Bitcoin at 2.2 million per coin. Let's go. This particular headline reads, National Center of Public Policy Research proposes the Bitcoin Treasury for Amazon. This is big, fam. National Center for the Public Policy Research, a Washington, D.C. based think tank championing the free markets, submitted a shareholder proposal to the Amazon, saying the Bitcoin corporate treasury strategy should be considered at the April 2025 shareholder meeting. And according to the proposal, the CPI used to measure inflation currently puts inflation less than 5%. We all know that's a bunch of malarkey, don't we, gentlemen? It's a remarkably poor measure of true currency debasement. Facts. The author suggested the true inflation rate may be double the reported CPI figure. I dare say it's probably triple or quadruple. And that's being modest, gentlemen. This greatly erodes Amazon's $88 billion worth of cash and short-term cash equivalents, the letter said. And to protect shareholder value, Bitcoin should be used as a hedge against the risks. The National Center for the Public Policy Research wrote the following. As of December 6, 2024, the price of the biddy increased by 131% over the previous year, outperforming the corporate bonds by 126% on average. And over the last 5 years, the price of the biddy increased by 1,246%, outperforming corporate bonds by 1,242% on average. The authors concluded by proposing that Amazon allocate at least 5% of its assets to Bitcoin to protect the value of its treasury assets. The key word, at least. That's clearly rookie numbers. If they're smart, they put at least 50%. Add 10x that mofo. You feel me? Citing MicroStrategy's success with a Bitcoin treasury strategy. That's right. They can all follow in the blueprint of Michael Saylor and the Saylor put. And again, big news comes tomorrow. Microsoft shareholders supposed to decide if they're going to adopt Bitcoin. And clearly, if Microsoft pulls the trigger, I think Amazon, all the major companies are likely to follow suit. The question is, how fast will they, play ball as the game theory global hash wars are in full effect? And I just announced, previous story we discussed the United States adopting a Bitcoin treasury. We're going to dive deeper into that in our next story, but I'll touch upon it right here. Saylor popularized the corporate Bitcoin treasury strategy that is now gaining traction amongst companies and pension funds. According to the tracker from MicroStrategy, the company's Bitcoin holdings are currently worth over $40 billion, putting MicroStrategy at about $17 billion in profit. We also have Marathon Digital stacking the biddy like it ain't no thing, as well as the Genius Group, another AI company, stacking the biddy as well. And I don't think that's going to slow down. You're going to see more massive adoption. You're going to see a supply shock. You're going to see the numbers going parabolic. Now for our feature story of the day. The United States should sell its gold and acquire Bitcoin, says I'm calling him now MicroStrategy, Michael Saylor. I'll be explaining why. And Max Keiser believes this is the most likely scenario. He's been calling global hash wars for a long time. He actually coined the term. And Max is predicting 2.2 million per Bitcoin. His previous prediction was 220, and he had to 10x it because of the game theory in play right now. So let's break this baby down, and then we'll dive into some live Q&A. Here we go, ladies and gents. MicroStrategy co-founder Saylor says the U.S. should offload all of its gold and accumulate Bitcoin as part of the new strategy to cement the country's global financial dominance. That's right, in a brand new interview on Yahoo, and it was a very powerful interview. I reposted it the other day on my X account. Let me know, gents, if you've seen it. Saylor says Bitcoin is emerging as the world reserve capital network. People are realizing that Bitcoin is better than the real estate. It is better than the stocks. There's not a single company or real estate property that you would rather own for the long term than Bitcoin, and makes a great point. Saylor, whose company owns the largest corporate holding of Bitcoin in the world, says the U.S. should attempt to control up to a quarter of the entire Bitcoin network. So MicroStrategy, as of today, now controls 2% of the circulating Bitcoin supply. 2% with their new latest acquisition we announced earlier. So he's saying 0.25%. Holy shit. So that'd be 25% of the Bitcoin supply in the hands of the United States government by offloading its precious metal, because gold is eventually going to zero against the Bitcoin. You already know. Gold is the poor man's Bitcoin. If you're a poor man like Peter Schiff, of course, you're going to have some exposure to the gold because you're too stupid or idiotic to purchase Bitcoin, even though you've been watching it go up for the past decade. You can't fix stupid, ladies and gents. Once gold is demonetized, Saylor says the other countries will be forced to acquire the biddy, sending the money into the United States via the Bitcoin network, tilting the world financial chessboard back in the favor of the United States of America. So the very simple idea is to buy 20 or 25% of the Bitcoin network on behalf of the U.S. government. I mean, they print the money out of thin air. It's a no-brainer. Catalyze the development of that world reserve capital network, and then let all the Chinese and the Russians, the foreigners, sell all of their assets and buy the biddy, and then the money flows directly into the U.S. If you want to put a great twist on it, dump your gold. I repeat, dump your gold. Sell all the U.S. gold and buy Bitcoin. Then the trade is free because you could buy 5 million Bitcoin for the cost of the gold. You'll demonetize the entire gold asset class, and our enemies hold gold in their banks. I repeat, our enemies hold gold in their banks. So how do you defeat the lizard folk? Sell the gold for the biddy, demonetize their entire net worth. Simple. Back to Saylor. So their assets would go to zero. Our assets would go to $100 trillion, and we would control the world's reserve capital network as well as the world's reserve currency network. Very powerful words there from Mikey the Sailor Man. Toot toot. And here's the tweet from, oh man, it disappeared. I had it up here. The Max Keiser tweet. Where are we at? But anyways, I don't have it pulled up in front of me. I don't want to waste time finding it, but I covered it in yesterday's podcast. And ultimately, Max Keiser broke down why he believes the United States will go that route and demonetize the gold with their Bitcoin holdings, which is a speculative attack, and sending Bitcoin parabolic ultimately to 2.2 million per coin. Let me know if you agree or disagree with the high priest of Bitcoin, Max Keiser. I can see 2.2 million occurring. I mean, it's inevitable. I'll say with 100% certainty it will happen. That's pure confidence. Why am I so confident? Because I understand Bitcoin enough and I understand the US dollar enough. And I understand that your purchasing power of the dollar is mathematically guaranteed to decrease as they continue to print till the wheels fall off. And I also understand that the purchasing power of Bitcoin is mathematically guaranteed to increase as they continue to print. So it's a no-brainer. All I got to do is look at the US dollar chart versus the Bitcoin chart over the past 16 years, and you will notice one trend. Dollar value going down, Bitcoin skyrocketing. Polar opposites. Save in thy biddy or forever hold thy peace. As simple as that. So there you have it, gentlemen. Let me know if you guys agree or disagree.